Is owning getting out of reach due to the rates increasing?
You'll be surprised by my answer. Not really.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
And so we're excited that we've created for you free access to over 587 Life's Inside Track episodes where we share insider tips, real estate information that gives you access to knowing what decisions to make and when to make it. And the beautiful part is you can get access to them from your house, from the home, or that's the same thing, eh? House and home?
Yeah.
Actually, not really, because it is about making house home.
Yeah, unless your house is like an RV. Then it's a home on wheels.
Exactly. And so the great news is you can get access to the shows, though, whether you're at the office or at home or even on the go. And so what we're going to discover in this episode is that affordability is actually really similar to what it was 3, 4, 5 months ago, even with the rates continuing to climb right now. The interest rates.
That's true. And it all comes down to pricing. Exactly. Pricing and interest rate combined creates affordability, or your monthly payment really is what we're talking about. And there's some pluses actually to the market correcting. I'm going to say correcting because it didn't burst. We're just correcting because the real estate market, I'm going to say never should increase 20, 25% per year.
No, not in a stable area, because it is beyond what is conceivably maintainable.
Yeah,
it can't be maintained.
It outpaces people's ability to earn money to afford them. So the affordability will hit its max. And in this case, the interest rates being driven up by the government is causing affordability to go down, which then the market has to follow. Even though we still have not very much inventory, the affordability factor is causing the pricing to go down.
Right. And we still have more availability and inventory than we had. Like we just finished sharing with you several stories, actually. We can talk about many of them now where people aren't having to consistently go in without conditions to get the house. Sometimes they still choose to, because you may pay less for the house if you now are willing to go in without conditions. So it's still in that market that there's things happening that we would never have dreamed of doing or seldom dreamed of doing 8 or 10 years ago. Right? Like it just wouldn't have happened. And yet inventory is continuing to increase.
Yes.
Which is helping with the rates, because you get a better time to consider and ponder and think and not feel frantic.
Yeah. So it's not all doom and gloom, I think is what we're attempting to say.
No, it's good.
And as a matter of fact, let's run a scenario, okay? Yeah. Because typically in February, March, our average price in Ottawa was $800,000.
In 2022.
Yeah. And in 2022, in August, the most recent I have particular stats for right now, it was $675,000. That's a $125,000 decrease in the average sale price. Now, interest rates have gone up pretty close to 2%. So if you were getting a 2.59% in February, you would now be paying about 4.59. Not necessarily variable, just about 2% up, even in a fixed rate, 4.59. The last time I checked was the best rate I could get for a 5-year fixed rate. So up 2%. So let's do the math, Yetta. We love math. I love math. Let's say we were doing 10% down, which was $80,000 on the property at $800,000, right? That would give us a mortgage of $742,320.
I know you were going to do the little part of the numbers. I'm just going to say ballpark for those that are listening that are not writing this down. Just kind of keep the number 742 in your head. Okay. I know there's a few extra dollars there, but let's just go with that.
Okay, I'll round down or round up. So your monthly payment would be $3,358 on a 25-year AM.
Right. If it was at 2.59%.
Yeah. Now we
Perfect.
take that same 80K. I'm not going to reduce it. We're going to put the same 80K down on the 675 because we have it. Gives us a mortgage of just over 613,000.
Right.
And at 4.59, we have a payment of 3,426. That's $68 difference.
Right.
Now, for a lot of people, $68 isn't a huge amount. It is an amount. It does affect your budget, and maybe you can't go to Starbucks as often, or you can't go out for movies. Or
Right.
I know if you go out for dinner for a couple now, it's try and do it for $68. It's
Can't do it.
so maybe you got to cut out one out meal. Or if you can't afford that extra payment because your affordability, your debt ratios and all that, you have to buy a house that's $12,000 less.
Right. Which, if you could buy a house instead that's now, instead of 675, would come off 12,000, it's just 663. So there's probably, even if it means you're losing some little element of the house that you might like, maybe there's a little more maintenance to do or something. That's all it's going to be. You're not changing the type of house for $12,000.
Not very much.
No,
That's right.
exactly.
So what's interesting is even in this market where there's multiple houses for sale now, we can tend to find one where the seller's more motivated. And we might be able to negotiate that $12,000 off now, right?
Right.
As a matter of fact, you and I helped a client just the other day.
Yeah. A different client than the one we were.
Different client.
Yeah.
And again, that one, there were two offers.
Yeah.
We went in under asking price with no conditions, and we actually got the house. Multiple offers, and we went in under asking.
Because it's, once again, we're going to keep driving this point home. The asking price, what's it based on? Is it a realistic number to start with? That's why you need somebody that's willing to sit down with you. And you start with a clarity session. It's 15 minutes just to go, is this the right time? Does it work for me? Do I need an introduction to a mortgage broker? I'm always going to have 3 or 4 questions, Ken, too, that we're going to cover in the clarity session just to get a feel for, is there another step? Or because often we get in our heads that we've already got the answer.
Yeah.
But maybe we don't.
So here's 2 beautiful points I want to make.
Okay.
If you didn't buy when the market was super hot and you're thinking of buying now, one is the person that bought now has $129,000 less mortgage. And if rates go down, they're going to be way, way ahead. And then the other part is, if they didn't have the $80,000 deposit, they only needed $67,000 deposit if they were going to just put 10% down. If they could afford it because they've got great jobs, but didn't have the money saved, now it's easier because you need less down payment to buy right now.
Wow. So it's actually lots of good news. So if you want to unpack that, here's really what we would say to you is don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Isn't that like our favorite thing in the entire industry? And it's not because we're realtors. It's because it's actually worked for us. We're not giving you any prescription that we haven't already lived out.
So the bottom line is that affordability did not shift very much, even with these large rate increases. And it's been a privilege and continues to be a privilege of growing beside you, alongside with you, because we're passionate about all of us attaining generational legacy.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker